Coming up on Inside Education, it's a big step on the road to maturity. We're talking about the middle school transitional period, and we have some tips on how parents and students can make that changeover much easier. Also, high school students from around the county came together to discuss leadership, careers, and life after high school. We'll take you to this year's Student Leadership Conference, but first, your child's teacher could be considered as one of the best in the nation. We'll take a look at this year's National Board Certified Teachers here in our area. These stories and more are coming your way next, right here on Inside Education. Hi, and welcome to Inside Education, the show that takes you inside the classroom to show you what's happening in and around Mobile County Public Schools. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Helena Tyler. Well, when it comes to educating your child, the Mobile County Public Schools is undergoing an initiative to help teachers become nationally board certified. The National Board Certification is a voluntary advanced teaching credential designed to help teachers reach highly qualified status. Now, the program set national standards for what teachers should be able to do within the classroom. While 12 more Mobile County teachers have recently achieved National Board Certification, placing them within the top 3% of teachers in the country. To earn National Board Certification, teachers must exhibit a deep understanding of their students' content, knowledge, and use of data and assessments, and demonstrate standards-based evidence of the positive effect they have on student learning.
It's very important. The process itself is professional development. It reminds me of what it means to be a good teacher, the common best practices that I should be focused on, how to help my students in the best way possible, and most importantly, be reflective. It reminds us that we're constant learners and we should constantly reflect on our profession and always think of ways to make sure that we're helping our students the best that we can.
The teachers' names have been added with those of others who have achieved certification on a wall of stars in their honor in the school district's professional development building. Well, for the past few years, Mobile County Public Schools has started an appeal for teachers to seek the National Board Certification. So what are the benefits of being certified? Well, to answer that question is Kelly Lomax, the Mobile County Public Schools Talent Unlimited Supervisor. Thank you for being with us today, Ms. Lomax. First question is, why would a teacher pursue a National Board Certification?
Well, teachers get to the point where we are at the top of our career in education with master's degrees, even further than that with educational specialist doctorate degrees, and so that's usually the path that people take. But National Board Certification is more of an internal reflection for teachers. It helps teachers to learn how to ask questions about what they're doing, why they're doing it, reflect on the impact that they have on students, and then what they might do to do differently next time when they have students the next year, or the next impact that they might have on students that would help them and helps grow the students. So it's always a reflection. It never stops. It's not like an end degree that you would get. It's very much internally driven, and once you go through the process, you are a changed teacher because you will be reflecting on everything you do from the beginning of your process of going through the journey until you finish.
How does this board certification impact our students?
Being a National Board Certified teacher is a constant reflection for the teacher. And that being said, we know from the research that's been conducted since the beginning of the National Board process that students benefit because teachers are constantly reflecting and constantly improving their craft. The most recent research from our neighboring state, Mississippi, shows that a kindergarten student who has a National Board Certified teacher is 31% more likely to be a reader at the end of the year. So who would not want a National Board Certified teacher in the classroom? We know that that is going to continue to grow. There's been much research done on the following students throughout many years, and we know that those numbers are going to continue to increase because National Board teachers do have that constant internal reflection.
Ms. Lomax, how is the school district supporting teachers in this journey to becoming nationally certified?
Our district has always supported the process of National Board Certification. Unfortunately, there have not always been funds available to support teachers, and it is a costly process at the beginning of a teacher's journey to do the National Board Certification. This year, our new superintendent, Mr. Threadgill, has allotted money for supporting teachers in helping reimburse with candidate fees, providing mentors for the candidates to have the support that they need, and professional development, which we know to be something that candidates need to help push them along in the journey because it's such a different kind of process. We were also part of a seed grant with the federal government where we were able to get that process started. So we've actually been supporting our teachers financially for a few years now, and we've now brought it home with our support with Mr. Threadgill supporting us through all the things that he's been able to do with allotting us some funds.
Well, thank you for spending time with us today, Ms. Lomax. Well, students at Murphy High School got a unique opportunity recently, an audience with a U.S. Congressman. Doug Jones represents Alabama in the United States Senate. He held a town hall-style session with Murphy High School students via Skype recently. The meeting with Senator Jones allowed the students the opportunity to ask questions about policy issues ranging from health care to national security.
I thought the questions were awesome, and they went from, all the way from felonies to things about his political future and his political past and his origins, and I just thought they did a great job.
And he said he started discovering what he had a passion in high school, and it was just interesting to talk to someone who has such a big role in our country.
The Skype session, which allowed Jones to speak to the students remotely from Washington, was set up after the senator's office reached out to Murphy administrators offering this opportunity. Like many residents in the Mobile area, students at Mary G. Montgomery High School were saddened by the death of Mobile Police Officer Sean Tudor, so they decided to do something about it. Well, Mary Montgomery teacher Lauren Tu's class raised $2,000 through an out-of-uniform day and donated the proceeds to Tudor's wife, Chrissy, as the school thanked her for her husband's service during a presentation called MGM Backs the Blue.
On a day like today, we are honored and saddened to celebrate the life of an outstanding Mobile police officer, Officer Sean Tudor. Some of my kids came to me and said, we would like to do a fundraiser in honor of Officer Tudor, and I said, well, okay, what do you want to do? Because we normally sell candy and pizza twice a month, and that's the norm for us. And they said, well, why don't we sponsor an out-of-uniform day? We think we'll get more money that way. And I said, well, that's great. Let's go talk to Mr. Furl, the principal. And Mr. Furl agreed to do it, and so my kids went around and spoke to all of the classes on campus, encouraging them to participate. And then we handed out wrist bracelets the day of, collected money. It is such an honor. I have had these children since 9th grade, so I've had them 4 years, and to say that they have matured is an understatement. They have grown into wonderful young women and young men. Thank you guys for all your hard work. Thank you.
It's just the way how he helped out the community. He was always there for us when we were football games and basketball games.
This is a sad moment, and gun violence is already enough in the world. So just to see someone gone, quick, is very sad, and we will just want to always be there for his wife and their family.
Fly high, Officer Tudor.
After the presentation, students released balloons in Tudor's memory, while the school choir sang Amazing Grace. Well, life can be challenging at times, whether you're a student or a corporate executive. Theodore High School put together a program recently to encourage students to stick with it and look for ways to be a leader at their schools. The Theodore Leadership Conference was a half-day event designed to ignite enthusiasm and inspire action in high school leaders.
Today we're excited to be welcoming over 600 students and teachers from 15 local high schools from across Alabama and Mississippi. We also have over 30 nonprofit and community organizations joining us for our Community Expo. We hope to grow and have even more students and more schools participate as we grow up more leaders.
Keynote speakers for the second-year event were Rosalind Houston, the head of talent and culture for BBVA Compass Bank, and Kevin Scott, co-founder of the leadership consultancy ADU and author of The Lens of Leadership. The conference drew more than 600 students and teachers from 15 high schools from the Alabama and Mississippi Gulf Coast region. Mobile County Public Schools broke ground recently on a new $4 million wing at Williamson High School, and the man for whom the wing will be named was on hand to mark the occasion. The wing is being named in honor of Lonnie G. Johnson. It's the Lonnie G. Johnson Educational Complex in honor of Johnson, a 1968 graduate of Williamson and the inventor of the Super Soaker water gun. A former engineer with the U.S. Air Force and NASA, Johnson says he's glad to see STEM being emphasized at his alma mater.
One of the things that really is important to me is to help kids understand what their ability is and really let them know that it's okay to dream, it's okay to have really high goals.
A science lab in the wing will be named for longtime Williamson teacher Walter Ward. And one Mobile County elementary school in my alma mater got some help for its science, technology, engineering, and mathematics program recently. Lioncoff Elementary received a $10,000 donation from Burlington Stores Incorporated to purchase STEM equipment and supplies. The donation was made possible through the Burlington partnership with adoptaclassroom.org.
We're going to use it to support our STEM program with robotics and coding and engineering, technology in their classroom. Hopefully they can get a couple of laptops and things to support their center stations, and we're just excited that they're able to have this additional resource in their rooms.
It is a great feeling that we are sharing with our community. In every place that we open a new store, we are part of the community by doing this type of event. And what better than doing it with our kids, with our future?
The company is opening a new Burlington Code Factory store in Springdale Mall. Well, we appreciate you being with us today, but don't go anywhere, because when we return after the break, we'll look at ways on how parents and students can cope with those awkward middle school years. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
I'm Tracy Tran, and I'm in the Healthcare and Dental Academy at Theodore High School. In the Dental Academy, I'm working alongside dental professionals getting hands-on training from those already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job makes me want to work even harder because now I know what I want to be.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. To find out more, visit mcpss.com.
Welcome back. Alma Bryant High School got some great news recently as it was named a Class Banner School for 2018. The Council for Leaders in Alabama Schools began the Banner program in 2001 to recognize schools that showcase outstanding programs and service to students, serving as a model of schools around the state. Bryant was honored in part for its partnership with Ingalls Shipbuilding to train the next generation of welders in its Talent Development Lab. Alma Bryant and another Mobile County public school, Tanner Williams Elementary, were among 24 schools around the state honored as Class Schools of Distinction. From that list, 8 were selected to be honored as Class Banner Schools. Middle school can be an exciting time for both students and parents, but for the students who are making the transition from elementary to middle school, it's a time of momentous changeover, emotionally, physically, socially, and academically. Well, as Inside Education reporter Crystal Smith tells us, there are a few things parents can do to help with this transition.
Many parents often refer to middle school as the awkward middle school years, or they may describe it as an emotional roller coaster for their child. As middle schoolers deal with the confusion of adolescent growth and puberty, they are also faced with the stress and pressure of social and school issues.
Middle school can be hard. The kids are trying to find out who they are. They're not quite babies, they're not adults, so it's that yucky time of life, and socially awkward. Socially they want to fit in. Sometimes they don't know exactly how to fit in.
I would say when I think of awkward with a middle school, I would say socially. Because they don't really know how to fully communicate their feelings or how to really let you know how they're feeling about things. Instead, they just kind of turn to either anger or they bottle it up to where they really don't know how to effectively tell you what's going on or how to communicate.
When making the leap from elementary to middle school, no parent can anticipate every challenge or obstacle their child may face. To help assist parents with this transitional period, the Mobile County Public Schools offers these tips to help support your child emotionally as well as academically during their middle school tenure. Parents, it is always a good idea to help your child manage homework and always encourage them to aim high and always do their best work. Check with your child's teacher regularly on their progress and check to see if there is a homework reminder system or website with helpful links. Experts say it is best to show interest in your child's studies by talking with them daily about what they are learning and doing in school. You should also discuss ideas and feelings about school, studies, and activities. Be realistic about what your child can and should be able to do. And finally, encourage them to pursue their interests and also their social life. During this time, it is equally important for parents to give your child a bit of independence by allowing them to discuss concerns directly with their teachers and letting them take responsibility for and manage their schoolwork.
So they're learning how to be accountable for their actions, but to also start problem solving without always running to an adult and asking them to solve the problem. They now have to figure out what is the best solution to a problem. So it is awkward because they have to remember they're not adults yet, but they're learning how to become productive citizens.
It is also a good idea for parents to join the school's PTA and attend parent meetings, because those are suitable moments to discuss any issues or problems your child may be having at school. It is equally important to maintain an open dialogue with your child so they feel comfortable with speaking with you about issues they may face in and out of school. Reporting for Inside Education, I'm Crystal Smith.
Now, child development experts recommend that parents are also encouraged to know who your child's friends are. Who does your child hang out with, and follow up on any suspicions that you may have. Well, middle and high school students from around the county put their knowledge of history to the test recently at the annual County History Day competition, addressing this year's National History Day theme, Triumph and Tragedy in History. About 160 students created exhibits, documentaries, websites, performances, and research papers, which were judged at the grounds.
I want them to take away from this that history is not just, reading about a bunch of people or events or wars, out of a textbook. That history, is quite interesting and can come alive, if we just take the opportunity to do so. Because so often, one of our biggest complaints would be is that, hey, we're sitting here in a classroom and we're having a bunch of facts thrown at us day after day. But here, these kids were able to really engage in some higher order thinking. And being able to engage in some higher order thinking, we're seeing some great projects because they created what you see here today.
Students whose projects won their respective categories will advance to the state competition later this spring. Well, ever wonder what it was like to live and work on an American warship in the 1800s? Well, students at Kate Shepherd Elementary School got a chance to find out recently as sailors from the USS Constitution visited the school. The Constitution, also known as Old Ironsides, is the oldest commissioned vessel still afloat. It was first launched in the 1797, serving in the War of 1812 and the American Civil War before its retirement from active service in 1881. Sailors shared information about the vessel's construction and weaponry and the role it served in American naval history.
We came down from Boston on board the USS Constitution. We like to come down to the schools around the area just to promote the Navy, promote our ship, and give them some education of the background that we come from.
So after all these pirates were attacking us, they started her construction in 1795.
They love hearing about the history. They love, getting energetic with us, and they especially love when we show them the weapons that they had, like our cutlass, stuff like that. Showing what the ship is made out of, the different types of wood, and actually some of the wood comes from the Georgia area, so some of this wood is actually grown down here.
The man that designed it was Joshua Humphreys.
We like to promote the U.S. Constitution by being the oldest commissioned warship afloat. Being 221 years old, she was an undefeated vessel. She was one of the main reasons why we were able to be so successful during the War of 1812. So we like to make sure that we're spreading out the knowledge about her and knowing where the Navy actually started and came from and why we needed a Navy to defend against barbarian corsairs off the northwest coast of Africa that were attacking our merchant vessels. So now we have our Navy to continue protecting our freedom, protecting our coast.
With a crew of about 60 active duty officers and sailors, the Constitution is now based in Boston and serves as an educational outreach tool to promote the Navy's role in history and current national defense. Well, students at Williamson High and Viger High Schools recently got an opportunity to get an inside look at the major news organizations as C-SPAN brought its traveling bus to campus. The C-SPAN buses tour around the country, sharing insight into how C-SPAN operates and how it differs from other news outlets.
We think it's really important that students have a choice anywhere that they want to go to find out their information. We are not saying that we're better than anybody else, but what we're trying to do is just try to show context. We want people to see entire events that a lot of times in the news or on social media, you'll just see 30 seconds or a minute, and that can be really easily taken out of context. So we love telling the students that there is a place that they can go for a lot of these big public affairs, public policy decisions and speeches, that you can see the whole thing in context. We think that's really important.
The buses, which includes a variety of monitors and interactive displays, have been in use by C-SPAN since 1993. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Abby Dinkins. My children go to E.R. Dixon Elementary School. The education that my kids are getting, it's tremendous. There's one time that I thought about homeschooling my kids because I wasn't sure, we're new here. And when I enroll my children at the public school, and I'm just blown away because the teachers are nice, the curriculum itself is different. I believe in Mobile County Public School education for preparing my children for life.
As Alabama's first and largest school system, Mobile County Public Schools prides itself on the high quality of education we provide our students.
We have been successful over the years in raising our graduation rates
and have been recognized nationally for closing achievement gaps.
We believe that our primary focus is to educate all students to become productive citizens.
This is our commitment to them and to you.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Well, students at I Showed Merge School of Math, Science, and Technology and Kate Shepard Elementary are learning about ways to help the environment around them. The schools recently received a grant to install compost bins outside on school grounds and began a project to teach their students about the benefits of composting.
I'm at I Showed Mertz this week. They were part of a grant that we got a compost bin. We put 2 compost bins in their backyard for them to use with their garden. I'm teaching about compost. We have 25 books here that were donated by Keep Mobile Beautiful for this school, for this program. But the main thing I'm trying to get children to understand is that we've got to take care of this world. We talk a lot about litter, the responsibilities they have, the consequences of litter economically, environmentally. We talk about recycling and where things come from and where they go and why we recycle and the resources that we're using and using up in some cases. I think the most important thing that I try to teach children is that it's everyone's responsibility to take care of the world, and that everybody can do something, whether they're 5 or 95. Everyone can either pick up litter or recycle or plant flowers to make the world beautiful, but we all have a responsibility to make our world a more beautiful place.
Well, students and teachers at McDavid Jones Elementary School were seeing purple one day recently, as the school held a Mobius Syndrome Awareness Day in honor of one of its students who has the condition. Mobius syndrome is a rare neurological condition that affects the muscles that control facial expression and eye movement. 8-year-old Ike Palmer was diagnosed with the condition, which keeps him from being able to smile, whistle, or move his eyes from side to side.
Oh, Ike is just like any other kid. He's a special kid. He likes to tell jokes and play jokes on others, and he's very loving. You can always expect a hug whenever you see Ike, and he just enjoys school. He likes his friends, and just like any other kid here.
In addition to wearing purple and sharing information about Mobius syndrome, McDavid Jones held a bucket drop to raise money for the Mobius Syndrome Foundation in Ike's name. Well, if you had a 100th birthday wish, what would it be? We'll tell you what one man who celebrated the century mark requested. It will definitely get you into the birthday spirit. We'll be right back.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
And welcome back to Inside Education. The Murphy High School cheerleaders made a special visit to an alum recently. John Mason, a 1937 Murphy graduate, had a wish for his 100th birthday, that the school's cheerleaders would attend his party. Well, his alma mater made his wish come true. Mason, a veteran who served as an aviation mechanic and glider pilot, was a star athlete at Murphy, lettering in football, basketball, baseball, and track. So his birthday wish was to have the cheerleaders perform a personal pep rally for him.
I want to thank you ladies very, very much for being here with me today. And it was 82 years ago that I graduated, and to think that you ladies would come out is a real honor to me.
The school also presented Mason with a box filled with Murphy memorabilia, including banners and flags, a Murphy tie, a DVD of a recent school musical, and a copy of the school's 1937 yearbook. Well, happy birthday, Mr. Mason. And that's all the time we have for right now. We appreciate you joining us today. For more information on these and other stories happening around the Mobile County Public Schools, visit us at mcpss.com or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.